What is up, ladies and gentlemen?
What's up, HTOWN?
It's your boys from the ShockTheWorld podcast, missing Jameson, but back on video for the first time in 4 or 5 weeks. I'm Harold Eason here with...
Old man and on vacation man, Tim Hanna.
Indeed. So, as you can tell by this lovely Christmas tree purchased by my roommate, it's Christmas time. And by the time you probably view this, Christmas was yesterday or the day before yesterday. So... we're recording on Thursday post the Providence game tonight, I guess Wednesday.
That's correct.
That's how busy it is right now in my job.
It's a wee bit busy.
No clue what day it is.
I don't know either because I'm on vacation until January 4th, so
I
don't know what the days are.
I am killing myself until literally the 1st, and then we'll figure it out. But
oil and gas, wine. That's why you join oil and gas.
Another thing that you can sort of look at is today, Wednesday, the 20th.
The 20th?
Is National Signing Day.
Early signing day. First time in the history they've done an early signing day. It's been a very interesting day, to say the least bit. I think going forward, this is going to be a very good thing, especially for smaller teams.
Agreed.
Because like you and I, we talked about it on off air. I think going from here on out, what'll happen is, let's say Houston has a 3-star tweener guy that's really, really good, but something happens with a bigger school, some guy doesn't fall to their lap.
Like with Arkansas the other year.
Yeah.
We had that running back.
The running back,
stayed
yes.
all the way up.
He was our
end.
first commit.
Yeah.
And then Arkansas came in the last 2 weeks, said, hey, come on an official visit, offered him, he flipped, boom, done.
Boom.
So I think from here on out, this is going to be a good thing for smaller schools because especially if all things being equal outside of like a huge coaching change, I think if you're recruited and committed for 6 months, there's no reason why you shouldn't sign.
No.
Unless you're waiting for the BBD.
Right. You're obviously there for the relationships that you've built with X, Y, or Z.
Exactly.
And that's where we've gotten lucky with a lot of guys.
Exactly. We find these guys first.
Right, because they're here.
Right.
So,
exactly.
Which is good.
Because we're not going to go after – yes, we do go after 4 and 5 stars, but, it's kind of like a shot in the dark. Right. Maybe we can get them. Maybe something happens, they fall in our lap. Yeah. But we're going to go for the solid 3 stars, 2 to 3 star tweeners, 3 to 4 star tweeners.
Right.
And hope that we can coach up a 2-star and a 4-star lives up to his hype. That's exactly our recruiting philosophy that we've had since as long as I've been following this.
Yeah, and I mean, it's a good thing for us when Nick Saban is whining about it. I heard he was complaining, but those guys, they can kind of be they're not lazy, right? But the bracket of who they're looking for is much smaller. The blue bloods of the blue bloods are able to go in at the end, to the guy who's got offers and maybe he's committed to LSU or Florida or USC, and then all of a sudden Alabama can swoop in.
Yeah.
Holy crap, we need this because something's going on because of what they've assessed in the offseason, and they can say, okay, we'll pick him up.
Right.
And they can make that happen. But now at this early signing period, that sort of negates a lot of that, which I like.
Right, I totally agree. I think this is going to be very good going forward for us. Right. I truthfully believe that.
And we've got a pretty fat class. So obviously today, National Signing Day, and we've got a bigger recruiting class than I think we've had in years.
Well, we signed 22. Normally, we like to sign.
About 20,
rarely we don't sign 25 because we're always going to be mining the grad transfer market.
Exactly.
Guys go to a big school, doesn't work out, they transfer out, so we're always going to be mining that.
Chavis this last year.
Yeah, exactly.
Same thing with one of the ones for this recruiting class, technically from TCU. What's his name? Isaiah.
Isaiah Chambers.
Yes.
Right. So that's always going to happen for us, but I think going forward we can always go with our option A because a lot of these schools, they have option A, B, and C.
Right.
And we don't want to be going down to our option B and C. And truthfully, this is going to keep the UTs, the Bamas, the LSUs away from our guys because we're going to lock them up and we're going to make them sign. Exactly. We're going to tell them, hey, sign now. We can't guarantee you a spot. I mean, prime example, we only have 2 spots left open come February. Yeah. We can get very selective as opposed to scrambling we've done years before where we have to go,
Something
who can we go
happens.
and grab? Who can we go and get?
Right. It's not, it's not every day that we go and sign Greenberry on the last day of the year and
Correct.
Something magical happens, right?
Right.
So in our situation, that's actually plays to our advantage, which is
Yeah.
really good. So I guess we'll go ahead and just go down the
Yeah,
line.
we'll go down the
This
list.
is going to be a regular episode, obviously, because we don't have a football game to talk about
Right.
from this last week.
We've already done the preview, which you can go back to the last episode. Check that out.
Bowl preview. We'll go ahead and click the link, probably right up
No, it'll be over there.
over here.
It'll be over there.
Over here, right next
Yeah.
to my head. Somewhere.
Yeah.
But we'll just dig in. So we have Kellen Walker, our first guy. So Kellen Walker coming out of DeSoto. I don't know if you guys know, but DeSoto is a solid North Texas program.
They're always going to be regional finals, something like that. DeSoto's a very good powerhouse in the state of Texas.
They do really well, and I personally, I don't know if I've even ever mentioned this on the podcast. I did drumline, so I've been to that stadium like 4 or 5 times. They care about football in DeSoto ISD. And Kellen is coming in. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, so Kellen Walker, he's a running back. This is going to plug our need. Right now we have –
One sec. Before we go too far into this, we are using 24/7 Sports as our backbone. And we only do that because there's so many – because of the composite.
Right.
And there's Rivals, Scout, whoever else you have. Everybody gives their own independent reviews on folks, and we try to use 24/7 because of the composite factor.
Correct.
So that being said, if you're like, oh, blah, 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 I thought Kellen was a 4-star on this website. Well, he probably was, but overall that has changed since.
Exactly.
And we're going with the overall. So go ahead.
Kellen Walker is 6 foot 205 running back. If you look at how we're shaping up, you got to remember on recruiting, especially for U of H with Major Applewhite, and he said this before, if you got 2 out, you need 2 in.
Yeah.
If you've got 3 out, so on and so forth. So next year we'll have Khalid Kakuma and Duke Catalan as redshirt seniors. We're going to need to plug someone else in there. I think this guy, he's our highest rated recruit, comes out of DeSoto. He's got that prototypical size and speed.
Yeah.
I really like this guy.
Already as a freshman.
Exactly.
He's a high school kid at 205. There's only room to grow here.
Exactly.
He's a refrigerator kind of guy that should hypothetically be able to come in and do well.
I don't think we're going to redshirt him. I think we'll let him come in and try and compete.
I think we're going to need to.
I just cannot see the running back as a position where we can sit a guy, let him get size. I think we're going to wait on that. We're going to let him play. I mean, even Davion Ford or Mitchell, whatever you want to call him, he came in and played as a freshman. So huge pickup. Hats off to the staff. Highest rated recruit. I'm really excited this guy's going to be part of the UVA squad.
Speaking of the Davion Mitchell thing, I'm kind of ticked. He only played in 1 game this entire season.
That's okay. That happens more often than not. It all depends on need and what's going on right then and there. Would I like to see him more or redshirted? Yes. But we did have a need. We weren't getting the production out of Carr or Justice or Kakuma. If it's a position of need, play him.
Yeah, I hear you on that one. And I think that's another thing that we've been going on about is running back issues. I think running back coaching issues, but we'll get onto that maybe in another day. So next, we're going to talk about Julon or Juju Williams coming out of Converse, Texas, and Judson High School.
So Julon is an athlete. He was a quarterback in high school, but we specifically recruited him as a wide receiver athlete. He will get looks per Duarte as a quarterback, but I think predominantly his main skill set is going to be for wide receiver. This guy is quick. He's 5'9 and a half, 180 pounds. This guy has speed, and that's something we've been missing is the speed. With Levine, and now we're starting to see the end of the Levine recruiting where you have the size but not the speed. I think we're going speed over size now. We still have a few guys that have some size, but predominantly we're looking for that inside wide receiver threat, that down-the-field threat. We could throw the ball up all day long to Dunbar and all the other guys, but I really think we've been missing that inside threat, and I think Stevenson next year too.
Definitely. Assuming he can finally stay healthy.
Yeah, stay healthy. Is going to really be that inside guy that we can really work around the field, the wheel routes, the go routes, all that fun stuff, and burn you and kill you with the speed. This is, truthfully, This guy is probably the crown jewel of the class outside
agree.
of the one we lost, Chance Amy. I'm very happy he signed with us. He had offers from everywhere. Could have gone anywhere, but he chose to stay in Texas and come with us.
I'm stoked. And by the way, we'll go back and recap. Kellen was a 3-star and scoring just barely above Julon. Julon is a composite 3-star, but 24/7 did give him a 4-star. Ranked number 32 in the state of Texas. So very impressive pickup for us. Interest from Northwestern, Oklahoma State, TCU, in our conference, also Utah, Tulane. So someone we're going to be really happy to have it. We know based on you can go ahead and check on the Twitter our breakdown of the classes. We need some help at wide receiver, especially with 2 guys graduating.
Right.
Who are our leaders.
Yeah, we have 2 guys graduating, and then we'll have 3 guys that are juniors, a sophomore, and 2 redshirt freshmen. So, yeah, we're going to be very young at this position, but we do have some depth going forward.
Cool. So, next guy on the list, this is going to be a long one because we've got so many guys, but we have DeKalen Goodson coming out of John Tyler in particular. We thought Chance Amy was going to be committing with him as well, but obviously we saw a last-minute flip from him to Syracuse. In my opinion, that's a stupid move, and we might as well just touch on it now. I think it's because they had another teammate that committed to Syracuse. I'm not sure what the relationships of those 2 guys are, how Syracuse made the play, but honestly, like, who wants to go play in the Carrier Dome when the air conditioning doesn't even work?
My thoughts on it are very simple. We are still going to lose guys to lower in Power 5 because they're Power 5.
Yeah,
it's sadly it's just that simple. So, good luck to Chance Amy. We'll honestly probably never hear from him ever again.
No.
And to be honest, good luck and Godspeed.
It could happen.
I have no ill will against him. I choose to be for the guys that are with us, and the rest, so be it.
Yeah. Except for Ben Hicks, because you know what he does.
Because he went into the conference.
Yes,
and
exactly.
they are by the score we looked earlier. We got a little TV over there.
We got double TV game going on.
They are losing bad, 41-3. I think was what the not final score, but the recent score we just saw
at halftime.
But about the guy that chose us, DeKalen Goodson, outside linebacker. This is going to bode really well for us. Outside linebacker is not a technical position that we need just yet.
Not right.
But this is going to be providing depth down the road. You can never have too many linebackers, especially if we're going to run a 3-4. That's
Definitely.
That's 4 linebackers. Probably need to have almost 8 that are switching in and out, especially with some of these up-tempo offenses.
Yeah.
I'm very, very glad that DeKalen chose us.
I do
and
too.
again, that's the East Texas pipeline that we've been working on so hard to get back over the past couple of years.
As far as interest and folks who are looking at him, he was obviously, maybe not so obviously, looked at by Raging Cajuns, offered by them, Colorado State. Obviously, Colorado State, despite their bowl loss, I think is going to be an emerging power in the G5. And then Mississippi State ended up actually offering them as well. So
that's another one that we held off that maybe could have offered him end of January, and they flipped him.
Yeah.
It's very, very
they
possible.
Actually did offer.
No, I'm saying, but that's another guy that at the very end, when the pen comes to the ink, could have offered him, and he could have flipped last second.
So very interesting on that one. Next, we have Ja'Cory Morgan. So Ja'Cory is a wide receiver coming out of Houston, Texas, specifically Clear Lake High School. Very impressed with this guy sitting in as a 3-star composite from 24/7.
To me, getting a top 200 kid should be a priority, and this guy is 151 in the state. He's got the size, 6'2", 190, similar to Courtney Lark. I really like this guy coming in. I think maybe he's going to have to sit because we don't really need an outside presence. We need an inside presence.
It's kind of we have a weird situation where we have all these wide receivers that have been supposed to really been like great, plug and play already, and just haven't really had the success. So it will be interesting on that standpoint if those guys aren't coming in and proving what they're worth, how Ja'Cory might get in the mix.
Right.
Now, trust me, I really hope he redshirts and we have the ability to do okay with Stevenson, Lark, Terry, a bunch of the other guys.
Right.
And hopefully that works out for us.
Well, we got 3 juniors, the sophomore, and 2 freshmen.
Right.
And we brought in 4 wide receivers. So there's obviously we're only having really 3 wide receiver sets, occasionally a 4 wide receiver set.
Right.
So
Hopefully some more interesting sets.
I guarantee you probably two guys out of the wide receiver class are going to redshirt.
Yeah. I'm with you on that one. And he's the highest besides Julon ranked in the class. So next we're going to go ahead and jump on to speaking of which, one of the reasons why Ja'Cory is so interesting, he got offers and at least interest from as far as P5 schools. We're talking Illinois, Kansas State, Utah, as well as Oregon State. And then G5 powers, they still got, Army obviously killed it this year. Colorado State's on this list. I forgot to mention P5. Did I say Illinois? Yeah.
Yes.
They were on the list too.
Yeah.
So pretty interesting. So next we have Donovan Mutin, I'm not really sure. Mutin. Coming out of spring, Klein Collins, 3-star as well. Inside linebacker ranked 50.
Yeah.
So pretty impressive on that one.
Donovan was a huge one that we were able to keep. He got offered by TCU, Tech, and 1 or 2 other, like Colorado State, guys like that. This is a huge position of need because we graduate 2 guys, again, just like we did last year.
Yep.
I can't say for sure. He's 6'1", 228. That's a solid size for a good run plugger.
Definitely.
Maybe they redshirt him, but truthfully, we had a couple guys that came last year and started right away. I mean, if you look at our depth chart, David Anini and Elijah Gooden and Grant Stewart all saw playing time.
Yeah.
So the position is there for him to come and start almost immediately. Not sure if it'll pan out just yet. I mean, we still got 8 months before he gets on campus.
Right.
But maybe it's there. This is a very, very solid pickup. The thing to remember when you're looking at recruiting rankings is not stars. Stars are just kind of a guideline. They're not the end-all, be-all. What you need to look at for us is who's offering this kid.
Yeah.
If other big schools are offering him and we keep him, that's going to be huge.
You want to hear a list? As far as G5 powers, we've got Air Force, Army, Colorado State, a couple of other folks, but not so interesting. But offers, Tulsa as well in conference. Obviously, San Antonio, we thought they were going to be a lot better this year. But Texas Tech, TCU, 24/7 actually had them as 100% going to TCU.
Yeah.
And we were able to make that.
But again, I think this plays into us the early signing period because we were able to say, hey, look, you've got to sign.
Yep.
Because that spot is not guaranteed after the 22nd.
And they don't know, TCU is going to end up deciding late, all right, yeah, we'll give you the offer.
Yeah.
Where we're able to say, dude, now or never. Otherwise,
you're our guy.
Otherwise, you're going to end up at UNT or New Mexico
or
SFA. You don't want to be there. So, cool. So we'll jump on to the next. So we have really excited about this guy, and that's going to be Taj Brown, probably the most offers of anybody on the entire list, despite being only really ranked. He's a 3-star national rank. I'm not even going to go into national rank, but was almost a top 50 guy in Louisiana from Donaldsville, Louisiana. I don't even know what that is. You probably do.
I don't know where Donaldsville is, but Taj Brown is, if we had Julian Williams as the crown jewel on the offensive side, this guy is the crown jewel on the defensive side.
Right.
Texas was very close to offering. Again, it's another guy that could have come towards the end of January. Texas is freaking out. They need a guy. They offer him, and he flips immediately. But instead, this kid shut down his recruitment as of last week and said, I'm going to U of H, period. No, if ands or buts, I'm going to U of H.
Piss off, mate.
I think it's awesome. He's 6'2.5", 250 pounds, strong side defensive end. This guy is huge. He's going to be a really good pickup for us for this next coming year, should I say. And I got to say, our defensive line for the next 4 years is stout between Chambers, Amiel Fleming.
I saw a lot of people online who were really worried about the D-line after Oliver leaves, and I don't really see it being that big of an issue.
No, I really don't think so. Honestly. I think we've recruited very well on the defensive line.
And it's one of those things that we've notoriously been not very good at.
Yeah.
And we made a point to go out and make that part of our repertoire.
Yeah.
And it's paying dividends.
Yeah.
So next, let's go ahead and do Christian Trahan. So Christian is another Louisiana guy out of Sulphur, Louisiana, with lots of P1 offers or P5 offers. So
So he's a tight end, 6'3", 238. We actually we'll touch on him and the other guy too, but we were running 2 tight ends. I find it very hard to believe that we're gonna really carry. I mean, right now, if you look at it, Romello Brooker is a senior going into next year.
Right.
Kobe Nduwame is a junior. Parker Eckenbacher, redshirt, so he's a redshirt freshman, and then 2 signed tight ends. One of these guys I would feel is going to translate into an offensive lineman, kind of like we did with what's his name at a Second Baptist, Alex Cooper.
Yes.
Alex Cooper. I think we're going to have the same situation there, but this guy had offers across the board. He was a top, 50, 60 guy in the state of Louisiana. That's the guys we need to be going after. Top
Agreed.
200 in Texas, top 50, 60 guys in Louisiana. And he was all about U of H from the very beginning.
Yeah.
So I'm very happy we held on to him.
I'm stoked with it. I mean, he basically said, piss off to Oklahoma State. So
Yeah.
I'm all about that. Next, we're going to go ahead and talk about Garrison Vaughn, another player that I'm pretty excited about. So he's coming out of Belton, one of the 2 guys that we got from Belton High School as a safety.
Yeah, so Garrison Vaughn, this is a position of need because we are going to have Garrett Davis graduating after next year.
Sure.
Colin Wilder, who has had injury issues, not sure where he's going to end up, if he's going to get a medical red shirt or not, or use it as a red shirt.
Right.
The rule is you cannot play more than 30% of your games. He only played in 2 games, so maybe he gets it, maybe he doesn't. But then outside of that, we've got a JUCO guy in Gleason Spreewell, so we're going to need some help in safety.
Definitely.
If I had my druthers, this guy between him and Jonathan Phoenix, if Wilder and Garrett stay healthy, maybe redshirt both of these guys and then bring, or one of the 2 guys, and then let them slowly work their way into the starting lineup.
Right. I think probably one of the 2 will end up redshirting, and one will end up actually getting some play time. But hopefully we can get maybe a little bit more productive season from Garrett this year from what we expected. And then see more, obviously, of
our defense is very interesting because we put so much pressure on the D line. Our safeties are there as our obviously the safety net, if you want to call it. I don't think we need to have the ball hawks. We're not going to have the Adrian McDonalds and the Trey Stewarts anymore. But I hope that this guy can grow into that position and take that next step. I don't think we need him right now, but if push comes to shove and we need to go in, I think Garrison Vaughn could be one of the guys that could start.
Yeah, I agree with you. So next, we're going to go ahead and jump back on the wide receiver train with Peyton Sawyer out of League City at Clear Springs. Pretty interesting one.
So he's 5'10", 160, 237 in the state of Texas and position-wise. I really like this guy. I think he's got a lot of speed. I'm very happy we were able to hold on to him. I think this guy will be a redshirt candidate for the first year. We're getting very crowded in that skill position.
Sure.
But if you look at it, I mean, Peyton Sawyer had a lot of good offers. I mean, he was talking to Tulsa, ASU.
Tech.
He got offered by Tulane, Arizona State. So this guy, obviously, people wanted him.
Yep.
He will probably be behind Marquez and Julon. But, again, this is depth that we need.
Right. So I'm stoked about that. So next we're going to jump over to cornerback and look at Zaire Taylor. So Zaire's at a Helotes from O'Connor High School, rank 152 as cornerbacks.
What I like about him is his size. He's 6'1", 182. I've always wanted – I don't like cornerbacks that are – unless it's like a 5-star, it's 5'9".
Right.
And I get that. I really like our cornerbacks to be 5'11", 6'1", just to have that size.
Yeah.
And he does. I think, again, he'll be one of those guys. I mean, you got to look at cornerbacks and where we're at right now. We've got 4 seniors, 2 juniors, and a sophomore.
Right.
It's a little crowded back there. We're only going to run 2, maybe 3 cornerbacks at a time. I think he will be a candidate for a red shirt, but I think because he has that size, he could be another T-Will, truthfully.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Yeah.
So next, jumping on a wide receiver again with Henry Thomas, who's been pro UH since basically the beginning of his recruitment. He basically, I think he was one of our first commits, actually.
Correct.
Pretty legit guy coming out of Mo City at Fort Bend Marshall. and doesn't have a lot of offers, just like a couple of the other people in the class, just because he shut his recruitment down so quick.
Right.
But one of the guys I'm really excited about.
Yeah, so he's 5'11", 175. Again, another guy that's got that small size but good speed. He'll probably redshirt, but I do like that. I mean, he could be another DeMarcus Ayers,
right,
if he develops that speed. I'm glad we got him. We beat out Tulane and somebody else. UNT.
That's all it.
So I mean, the
not
offers.
Not overwhelming.
No. That's okay because this guy was pro U of H, and I'll always take a guy who's pro U of H over anybody else. 10 times out of 10.
Yeah. Next, as far as tight end goes, so we've got another tight end. We keep on bringing all these tight ends finally, and really haven't done a whole ton besides this last year.
But I think the cream will rise to the top. I'll gladly take a good tight end over, just someone plug and play.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. So, got some great offers from Kansas State as well as Louisiana Lafayette. 6'4", 230. I'm really interested.
Yeah, he's another 200 guy for Texas.
Pearland.
One between him or Christian, one of them two is gonna redshirt and or move to the offensive line.
Sure.
One of them is gonna be really good. One of them's gonna be plugged in for offensive line, if I had to guess. But that's okay. We need that depth. You can never have too many offensive line or tight ends. We don't utilize the tight end too much outside of blocking, but I think this is a really good pickup with the guys that we beat out for him.
I agree. And the next guy, as far as like beating out, I think we did a great job at this. So somebody who wasn't even really on our radar, Bo Alexander.
We got a flippy boys.
A flip from Temple, and I actually think this is a pretty good strategic move to go to these guys who are committing as JUCOs to, or at least expressing interest as JUCOs to other American Conference folks and saying, okay, we need a hole here. Well, who else in the conference offered him? And then saying, okay, why don't we just go ahead and give him an offer? Because most of the time, wouldn't you want to way rather play at Houston than Philadelphia?
Oh,
you
for
have
sure.
The chance to, it's a bigger and better city, but I mean, we have a better chance to win, right?
Bo Alexander, 3-star, offensive tackle, 6'4", 300 pounds.
Big guy.
This guy is one of those that's going to come in and probably compete immediately for a starting spot.
Exactly.
We've got 3 seniors
and
6 juniors. I think there's room for him to start immediately. He is a junior. He's going to be coming in as a junior, so he's going to almost have to play immediately.
Right.
I like the depth. That is one thing that we've been lacking the last 2 years has been depth on all offensive line.
We need it.
So, happy we flipped him. It was funny because the Twitter account kind of threw some shade and said, flip to the next flip. It says, flip on over to this newest commit or this newest signee. And I was like, ooh, shade, simple. Just a little bit of salt. Hey, we'll take it.
Hey, I'll take it. I'm happy about it. Offensive tackle wise from JUCO,
and
ranked number
his
16 in the country.
Arizona Western, if I'm not mistaken, won the JUCO championship.
Okay.
One of them. I don't know how it works. It's weird. One of them works.
There's a lot
one
of
of one.
But that's interesting. Pretty cool. Next, as far as jumping back over to safety, another JUCO guy coming from Arizona as well. Who do we have that's from Arizona that's recruiting all these Arizona guys?
We really don't have a specific territory for an Arizona guy.
No, I'm just thinking of who we have on our staff who's worked in Arizona, if that makes sense.
Well, I truthfully don't know because we don't have a West Coast guy that is what you would typically see.
Yeah.
Truth be told, it could have been our safeties coach.
Yeah. Pretty cool though. So played for Mesa Community College, ranked 7 per 24/7.
What this immediately does is adds to the depth between Colin and Garrett in case something happens. I don't think he's going to start right away, but if he's one of those, if Colin needs a break or Garrett needs a break, you can plug him in and you're out. And you're not going to have the giant fall off like you would if you had a true freshman going out there. Because we cannot have a true freshman running safety when Memphis is out there slinging the ball, or UCF or SMU, something like that.
But a good one for us overall. This was off of my radar, so I didn't catch up.
Yeah, nobody knew, and I had seen him before, but he was committed to Temple. So
he was a Temple guy.
He was a Temple committed.
So we flipped 2 Temple commits.
No, this is the only Temple commit that we flipped.
No, I was talking about Gleason. Spreewell.
Gleason wasn't committed to Temple.
Okay, we're talking about different.
Oh yeah, just kidding. No, sorry, they were talking about Bo. My bad.
Good. So next, we're gonna go ahead and talk about a HTOWN boy.
a legacy. Yeah.
From Joey Baines.
Joey Baines.
And now we have Max Baines on the roster, and I believe he was like a first-team all-conference guy at the time.
He was in the Veer offense. He was specifically recruited, played with Ware, if I'm not mistaken. So I always want to recruit guys who their parents have been here. I think it's huge for us. I think Max is going to be a kind of a project guy. He's
a 3-star too.
Yeah, he's a 3-star. I think they're going to let him redshirt and kind of sit and develop a little bit.
Potential-wise, though, I mean, he's already 6'5", 307.
Yeah,
so
he's a big boy.
That's a big dude. And, you know, looking at him, he doesn't look like a big offensive tackle.
No, he doesn't.
So I'm going to be interested to see how the nutrition and the training team works with him over the next, probably year, because he's probably going to redshirt.
Year to 2, yeah.
And really put some meat on him, really get some, some lean muscle, and, he'll probably have to gain some more weight as well. But I'm excited about this one. Next, we have Cameron Lewis, another offensive tackle coming from Klein Collins as well.
Yeah.
So we're doing pretty good recruiting from up north.
Right. Yeah. So we're getting these guys that want to stay in Houston and be here. I think it's amazing. We beat out Texas State for him. We beat out Tulsa and UTSA and SFA. Yeah. So that's a guy that we're beating our peers out for. So I'm okay with that. Sure. I really like that. It'll be another guy. He's 6'4", 300, like you said, that will probably redshirt. There's not an immediate need for him, but down the road, 34 years from now, you're going to see this guy's name called a lot.
34 years from now. 34.
I definitely said 3 to 4. Definitely said 3 to 4.
Enunciate, my friend. Next, we're jumping back over to Belton. And going to talk about Logan Hall, wideout for us.
He's a weak side defensive end, 6'6". 225. If you haven't checked our Twitter feed, I'm pretty sure that him and Garrison Vaughn are stepbrothers because I guess Belton dyed their hair or something. Yeah. They look very similar. So they look like you could be separated at birth. But, defensive end, we've got a lot of guys on the defensive line. We picked up Blake Young last year. We have 2 seniors. Peyton Turner, who did a great job. Right. Don't forget, Isaiah Chambers is sitting there waiting in the wings, just licking his chops because he's not played since high school.
Technically on this recruiting class.
Technically, yes. But he will be a redshirt sophomore next year. So this is one of those guys, I think he's going to have to redshirt, develop a little bit more size, a little bit more weight.
Yeah, he definitely needs more weight.
You remember, we run a 3-4, so we have a defensive tackle and 2 defensive ends.
Right.
Going into next year, we've got already Gerard Carter and Zach Vaughn, Blake Young, Peyton Turner, Isaiah Chambers that can all play defensive end. Sure. He's going to wait his turn, but I think we are absolutely stacked. And adding this guy adds immediately depth because that's one of the positions that we, like you said earlier, we have not recruited terribly well in the previous regimes.
Right. And I would not be surprised if he ends up making the way that things have gone. Like, obviously, we had DeJuan Hines, who was defensive end, and then they moved him back over to linebacker. Yeah. I could see that happening with him. I mean, this dude's he's pretty skinny, honestly, for his size. So
maybe he's another. You got to remember, Cam Malveaux didn't play until his end of his 3rd year, going in his 4th.
True.
Could be another Cam Malveaux.
Very true.
And now Cam Malveaux is playing for the Dolphins.
Not bad.
Yeah.
So next we have Willie Smith coming out of Spring High School.
Yeah, Big Willie style. I think this is his Twitter name or something. But again, same exact thing as Logan Hall. He has been here for a little bit. I'm not been here, but he's going to be here for a little bit, red shirt, and then eventually work his way into the starting lineup. Right. It's hard to project on the defensive line who's going to start winning because there's not an immediate need. But this is adding depth. He's going to red shirt, and then maybe a year or 2, 3 years could be starting for us.
This is a guy at 245 we definitely need to hit the weight room. Doing pretty good, though, as far as his position, ranked 91. So another 3-star guy. Guys, everybody we're covering today is a 3-star.
Yeah.
Which is pretty awesome. We were talking about this off air earlier today, but it wasn't too long ago where we were majority 2-stars. We were getting 3-stars, and then we get the 1 4-star. This year we've kind of got like a hybrid 4-star, and then everybody else is 3-stars for the most part. So,
well, you look at the position breakdown like we mentioned earlier. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 guys that are 3-stars, but we have that many in this class alone.
Right.
And so I think that's what we need to be going after is 3-stars that we're beating out peers for, that have that tweener look, that maybe could get a look from a Texas Tech, an Oklahoma State, an Arkansas, guys like that.
Right. I agree. And with that, we're going and flipping on to our 2-2-stars of the recruiting class. Pretty interesting. And that's going to be Jonathan Phoenix It's safety from McGregor, Texas. I don't even know where McGregor is.
It's up north.
Honest. Okay.
Towards Dallas. Again, he'll be a guy that's probably going to redshirt. Either him or Jonathan Phoenix is going to redshirt, sit back, learn it, just try to develop the next step, and then eventually provide depth for us.
Yeah, I mean, 6 foot 175. I'm already impressed by that. I like that. If I remember correctly, he got a 3-star from one of the
probably
other
so.
folks.
Oh yeah, probably so.
So I'm happy with this one. And again, we need help.
He's got the
Clearly,
size. We just need to learn to develop him. Yeah.
So we have Dos Mas. So we have next we're gonna do Jack Freeman. So offensive tackle. Actually, I think was 2-star. From Midlothian. I love that word. When I was a little kid, I used to say Meatloafian. But I think he actually got All-State.
I think so, too. He's an Oklahoma kid.
No, it's here.
Oh, sorry. I thought he was the Oklahoma guy we
No,
got.
you're
I'm
good.
thinking of someone else. But this is one of those diamond in the roughs. Let's develop him and see where he goes. You got to remember, Will Noble was a 2-star coming out of high school.
Right.
And,
freshman All-American.
And he's been a freshman All-American. He's been All-Conference twice now.
Yeah.
So it shows that, yes, you can develop these guys. This whole squad, the coaching staff has been able to develop guys. So I think he's going to have to sit back, get bigger, get leaner, learn the system, and then we'll hear his name called in probably 2 or 3 years.
I agree. This is a guy, I mean, he's 6'4", 260. We seriously needs to put on some weight. But we'll see how it goes.
Yeah.
And then last but not least, we have Zamar Curvin.
Who was our last LOI signed today.
Yeah. Outside linebacker, 6'3", from Mart, Texas.
Yeah. Didn't have a whole lot of offers.
Yeah.
I think this guy's going to be another project, too. Maybe he translates into another position.
Sure.
You got to remember, there's a lot of these guys that they may or may not be here throughout the rest of the year or a couple of years as we go on. But
right.
I do like his size. He needs to put on a little bit more weight.
Definitely.
Outside linebacker is not a position to need just yet. But eventually, this kid, I haven't had any problems with our linebackers as of yet.
No.
So I think he will redshirt. He will eventually come into play a couple years down the road.
Sure.
As long as he learns the system and gets a little bit more weight. I think he's going to be a good pickup for us.
Yeah, there's always these project guys that we get, and we always have to kind of remember that in Texas, it's the average 2-star in Texas compared to the competition, compared to a place like New Mexico or like, Oklahoma almost. Oklahoma has some decent stuff, but you talk about like the majority of the Midwest, like these guys would be 3 stars, maybe even 4 stars.
Right.
So you gotta definitely keep that in mind, and I'm excited. Definitely of the class so far, the biggest project guy that I've seen so far.
Right.
But it should be pretty interesting to see what he can do. I definitely think being 6'3" is gonna help out.
So with that said, we signed 22 guys. We did sign Isaiah Chambers a year ago. He's being applied to this class.
Right.
4-star defensive end coming from TCU. We also awarded Alexander Myers, cornerback, a scholarship. He's being applied to this class as well.
Right.
So that's 24. The rule says you can only sign 25. I think we may sign 1 or 2 more guys. You can always fudge with the numbers when recruiting. You can delay someone's enrollment.
Right.
We've done it with Dixie before. We've done it a couple other guys.
That's why he hasn't been on the list. Everyone on Twitter who's always asking about Dixie Wooten on our list. That's why he only pulls up as a sophomore.
So with that said, there are a couple of guys that we are trying to key on. Lawrence Keys, I think he's the 4th. He's a 4-star wide receiver. It's down between us and Notre Dame. He's not going to sign until the beginning of February. This guy would be an immediate plug-and-play, ready to go in and compete immediately.
Yeah.
And then you also have Tayson Henry, which is another name
Right.
that he was on our radar, committed to TCU, and then just a couple weeks ago decommitted on another running back. I don't know if we really need another running back because don't forget we have Patrick Carr, who did amazing in the spring game, but only played in like 1 game this year.
Yeah.
So with that being said, maybe we get him, maybe we don't. I'm not exactly sure, but that's pretty much going to round out our recruiting class.
Yeah.
In terms of where we're sitting at currently, we have currently we have 82, 83 guys, somewhere around there.
Gotcha.
You only have 85 guys max, so we only have 2 more spots open. I don't know if we get 1 more grad transfer or we get one of these 2 recruits. I'm not exactly sure where that goes. That's yet to be seen. We won't find out for another 2 months.
Right.
But with that said, where we sit now, we're currently 5th in the G5. We're behind Cincinnati, USF, Western Michigan randomly, and Boise State. But that's okay. We can be in the top 5 of G5. I think that's where we need to be year in and year out. I don't think there's any reason we cannot be there for any given reason. We have a stadium. We have an IPF. We have the winnings. We have the coaching staff. There's no reason why we shouldn't be there from here on out. Right. So hats off to the coaching staff, especially with losing Brian Johnson. The fact that we didn't have mass exodus like we did the year before. We had almost like 10 or 12 decommits.
Right.
I really like this. This has been the least stressful signing class I'm excited about in a very, very long time.
Yeah, I'm pumped because, like we mentioned earlier, UH is used to sort of this being flipped, where you're going to have a handful of guys that were 3 stars, maybe 2 handfuls, just as far back as Kevin Sumlin.
Yeah,
and this just shows the progression of the program. We've got the facilities, like you said.
Yeah,
we've got the fan support for the most part.
Yeah,
and we're making strides in being in the top 5.
Yeah,
I'm okay with being in the top 5 for this season, and I'll tell you why. We did have the offensive, obviously, loss, if you will,
right,
Brian Johnson. But Cincinnati's going out and they're basically promising the world to these guys because obviously they were garbage this last year.
Yeah.
Sorry, Bearcat Radio. But the Binturongs were not good.
No.
Western Michigan is a flash in the pan. They're basically riding off of old boy who went to Minnesota's coattails, basically.
Yeah.
And that's why they're looking okay.
Right.
Boise State, we're going to be competing with every single year.
Mm-hmm.
I think USF is not going to last long either. I just don't think Charlie Strong's that good of a coach, really.
Right.
I think at Louisville, he got lucky with a lot of P-boys. I can't remember stuff. And, I'm happy to say that we're looking really good for where we should be.
Right.
So
I agree.
I think overall, though, that is it for this recruiting class.
Yeah.
And we're going to take a break real quick, and we will get right back with you and talk about the American Athletic Conference
Shooty hoops
basketball. So, catch you in a second.
All right.